let them have that power over your body. Retain the sovereignty of your own body. Keep control. If you give your data to somebody else, to a doctor, nurse or health service, without your consent, you lose your control.
As you already know, the Wide Awake show was in Durham for the In Pursuit of Justice rally on the 4th of June. Roxanne was invited up as a guest speaker, and she also caught up with the other speakers, Mark Steele, Joe Langley and Kevin Corbett. And in this video, we're going to bring you Roxanne's speech, the first part of Kevin Corbett's speech, and then an interview with Roxanne after the rally.
That is the introduction.
I've come up personally to talk to you because this is a subject that's very, very dear to my heart. I stand here in front of you as an unvaccinated individual. I was born in 1981, and even back then, both of my parents, my mum and my dad, were both very, very sceptical about what was being put into our bodies. Society, government, no can tell you what to put into your body. So if you take one thing away from this, please, if you have half an hour, those of you that are standing here, I have massive love and respect for you taking the time up to stand here, but for those of you in the background that can hear this in your peripheral hearing, please take 30 minutes. If you've got time to watch a movie, you've got time to look into this.
Thank you very much for inviting me to speak here today. It's a great honour to be in Durham today, and the title of this rally is In Pursuit of Justice. So we want justice, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what we want justice for. To exist, none of them have been isolated or purified. This is an incredibly important point that a lot of the anti-lockdown scientists are not acknowledging. Of course, the government scientists won't acknowledge this. Don't let them have that power over your body. Retain the sovereignty of your own body. Keep control. If you give your data to somebody else, to a doctor, nurse or health service, without your consent, you lose your control.
We are speaking to Dr. Kevin Corbett today up in Durham for the Pursuit of Justice rally, which we just witnessed go around the town. Thank you very much for talking to us today, Kevin. What's brought you up here today?
Well, I've been campaigning around the issues to do and the science for the last 2 years, and that's been based on my previous research going back now best part of 30 years. So I've known for a long time that the science behind this, and so I'm wanting to bring these issues into the public domain more, to speak to people directly as a health scientist with 35 years experience and as a qualified nurse with 37 years experience.
In the last 2 years, what would you say the reaction has been to the information that you're putting out amongst your peers, your colleagues, people within the industry that you're in?
Well, in the health sector, it's very difficult. I mean, from the 1990s, I became quite well known as standing out around HIV and AIDS, and that was dismissed, or it was accommodated in a way, because I had a credible research background in other areas, and I taught for a long time in universities in the UK, and so that was accommodated. And I think this has been worse because, you know, it's so fundamental what's happened. This has been a huge sea change in healthcare and a reorganisation of the NHS. So people have been forced to take sides for or against. And of course, one's lost a lot of colleagues on the way. And colleagues who probably agree with what I'm saying, but are not able or too afraid to stand out.
For fear of the social reprisal?
For fear of the professional implications of doing that on their their credibility, their reputations, their income, their what's called esteem factors in the research excellence framework in universities. So they may agree with some of the scientific caveats that I've talked about in private, but they're not able to come out in public. And indeed, within the anti-lockdown movement, there's a lot of very well-known scientists involved in the anti-lockdown movement who privately agree with what I'm saying, that there's been no isolated or purified virus, but they're loath to come out in public and say this, again for fear of challenge, or they don't understand this, or they feel they're going to be vilified even more than they have been. So it's this issue of polarity and division that is the big issue, you know, that needs to be dealt with, I think.